Hey guys, it's just Jace from Pushing the Envelope. I'm actually coming to you today about an introduction as to a series that I'm going to do on training the mind and mental discipline, and how it's a component that we seem to lack here in healthcare in the West, where we tend to focus on pharmaceutical, vitamin, mineral, nutritional changes, maybe even some physical modalities like acupuncture and chiropractic, but we tend to leave out the psychological components, the neurological components, and the interplay between the two from our healing. Coming from my aspect of fibromyalgia, mental discipline has been a major part of me healing and being able to deal with the disease. I'm not exactly healed. I'm in remission most of the time. But one of the things that I've learned is that mental training is as important, if not more important, than any medication or change that you're going to make to try and help this disease. For those of you who aren't familiar with fibro and are tuning into the blog, and those who have fibro, we're used to dealing with tremendous musculoskeletal pain, burning in our muscles, fibrous, knotty type tissue that seems to take over our muscles, where they become very knotted, very painful, like Charlie horses. We tend to get a lot of joint pain. We have a tremendous amount of central nervous system phenomena that are not pleasant. Visual disturbances, headaches. We get a lot of memory loss, cloudy thinking. There's a lot of unpleasantries. So for me, mental discipline has become the most important thing as to how I can deal with this disease. Much more important than any of my medications. Much more important than any of my exercise, because there's going to be a time where we are completely incapacitated. Our drugs don't work. Our body doesn't work. It's not going to respond. We're going to be in pain. Sometime we're not going to be able to respond. And at that point in time, the only thing that we're going to have left is our brain. And how do we actually use that to get through these troubled times? I like a lot of the Eastern approach to mental training, and the way it seems that these cultures in the past, perhaps Hindu, Buddhist cultures, have really incorporated mental training into their lifestyles, into their ways. Particularly Hindu culture is very attractive to me. There's scriptures, part of the Bhagavad Gita, which is a small part of an epic poem that basically describes how one tries to regain control of one's life. And by life I mean mind and senses and emotions and thought patterns and behaviors. How we get control of that. Because basically what the Gita says is that for those who have tamed their mind, who have controlled their mind, gotten under control, mind is the best friend to them. But those who have not gotten under control, those who have not actually tried to control it, to learn to tame it, it can be the worst enemy. And everyone can, I'm sure, has heard allusions to quotes like, man can make hell out of heaven and heaven out of hell. There's similar type, quotes that describe the same phenomenon. And mental discipline is very, very, very important. Another simile, metaphor, whatever, comparison between a actual tangible account and the human condition is where we liken, say, the body, the mind, the sensory organs to the whole system of a chariot that's driven by horses, where the charioteer reins And the example is that um, basically the five sensory organs represent the horses that are drawing a carriage, and the carriage is actually us. It's our human being, and that includes our body and our brains and everything. And the actual charioteer, the one who controls these five sensory organs, that's supposed to be our mind, and that's supposed to be our brain in action, which we call mind. And for some reason, we seem to grow up, and we go out into the world, and we go exercise everything, we learn all this knowledge, we go out into our great careers, we try and gain status and money and all this, but we forget that how important it could be to actually train our brains, and how much more efficiently we could be if we train them. And so this example is basically that the charioteer, which is our brain, in action, called mind, has fallen asleep at the wheel. And so our five sensory organs basically go out and they distract us and they pull us in all different directions, and over time they build memories and experiences. And what happens is these horses, which represent the senses, are out of control. They're pulled in all directions, they're heading downhill, and the chariot's on a collision course. And so the idea is, how do we reawake to this life, and how do we basically pull in the reins on our senses, on our emotions, on our thought patterns, and gain control in order to help us deal with this disease and help us with other things in life. And so that's what this series of video blogs, is going to be about. It's going to be about the importance of training the mind and to gain control of our senses and how they work with our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, our behavior patterns. That's what this series of blogs is going to be about. How do we tame the mind? How do we get it under control? And once it's under control, how do we use it to our advantage to deal with situations in life that are tough? For this particular situation, how do we use it to be able to handle fibromyalgia? How do we use the brain to be able to get through situations where our medication is not working, when our physical body is not working, and we're stuck, we're bedridden? How do we cope? And that's the purpose of this. So I'm going to do this over a series of nights or days when I can come to you. My duration has to be probably under 10 minutes a session, because YouTube won't allow me to host much more than that, and it may actually be a little bit too much to give to you information-wise, because it may be too much overload. So just in a review, this blog is actually to introduce you to the importance of controlling the mind, getting it in control, and once it's under control, how to use the brain to our advantage to be able to deal with harsh situations in life. And that's what this series will be about. So looking forward to giving it to you, and we'll see you in the future.